When you disappear, you're not pulling a move, you're changing the environment. And the environment changes how people think. The first thing she feels isn't pain, it's confusion, not sadness, not regret, confusion, because you were consistent, you were predictable, you were always there, and now you're not. She checks her phone. No message from you. She scrolls, nothing. She looks at your social media. You didn't watch her story, you didn't react, you didn't leave a trace, and that breaks her expectations. In her mind, you were the one who cared more. You were the one who reached out. You were the one who made effort, and suddenly that effort is gone. So her mind starts asking questions. Did something happen? Did I push too far? Is he okay? Is he with someone else? Those questions don't feel dramatic at first. They feel small, but they multiply because the human mind hates gaps. It hates unanswered space. And your absence is a gap she cannot control. This is where most men misunderstand what disappearance actually does. They think it's about making her miss them. It's not, at least not yet. First, it's about breaking the pattern. It's about disrupting what she assumed would always be there. She assumed you'd respond. She assumed you'd wait. She assumed you'd stay available. And when that assumption collapses, her nervous system has to recalibrate. That recalibration is uncomfortable. After confusion comes curiosity. Now she wants to know. What changed? Where did you go? Why aren't you reacting the way you used to? She might reach out, something casual, something light, an excuse that doesn't reveal intention. And this is where most men fail. They answer immediately. They flood her with attention. They give everything back at once. And the moment they do, the mystery disappears. She gets her answer, you're still there, still waiting, still available. The curiosity dies. But if you stay gone, if you don't respond, or you respond with calm distance, curiosity deepens. She starts imagining your life without her in it. What you're doing, who you're with, what you're focused on, and that image bothers her. Because she assumed you'd stay stuck. She assumed you'd stay orbiting. She assumed you'd remain where she left you. And you didn't. Now she's the one wondering. Then comes the third feeling, loss of control. This one hits deeper than people admit. Most women like knowing they have options. Not because they want to use them, but because it feels secure. It's comforting to know someone is there, even if they don't choose him. When you disappear, that safety net vanishes. She can't pull you back with a text. She can't test your interest. She can't keep you on standby. And that loss of emotional access creates anxiety. Even if she didn't value you before, the moment you're gone, your value increases. This isn't cruelty. It's human nature. What's always available feels ordinary. What becomes scarce feels important. Your absence makes you scarce, and scarcity creates value. After that comes regret. But regret doesn't arrive suddenly. It builds quietly. At first, she tells herself she doesn't care. She convinces herself you were too available anyway, too invested, too easy. She tells herself she made the right choice. But as time passes, that story starts to crack. She remembers the moments you were there, the times you showed genuine care, the effort you made without being asked, the presence you offered when most men don't. And slowly a new thought appears. Maybe she took that for granted. Maybe she assumed you'd always be around. Maybe she misjudged your value. That realization hurts because regret isn't just missing someone. It's realizing you had something real and didn't recognize it until it was gone. And that sting lingers, not because of drama, but because it exposes a mistake. Now, let's be very clear about something. This is not about revenge. It's not about hurting her so you feel better. That mindset is weakness disguised as strength. That's still giving her control over your emotions. Real disappearance is about self-respect. It's about refusing to stay where you're treated as an option instead of a priority. Because staying in that space slowly destroys you. It chips away at your confidence. It makes you question your worth. It turns you into someone who waits, who hopes, who accepts crumbs. And no woman truly respects that man. She might keep him around, she might use him for comfort, but she does not respect him. And without respect, nothing real can be built. So when you disappear, you're not playing a game. You're setting a standard. You're saying, I value myself. You're saying, I don't need to convince anyone of my worth. You're saying, I'd rather be alone than be disrespected. And that energy is powerful. Not because it's manipulative, but because it's authentic. Most men don't do this. Most men chase. Most men stay when they should leave. You didn't. And that difference matters. The next thing she feels is respect. And this is the most important shift of all. She may have liked you before. She may have enjoyed your attention, but respect changes how attraction functions. When you walk away, she sees boundaries. She sees self-worth. She sees a man who won't accept less than he deserves. And that is deeply attractive. Not in a shallow way, but in a grounded, instinctive way. Because women are drawn to men who are centered, men who know their value, men who don't need approval, men who can stand alone. Your disappearance proves that. It shows you're not desperate. It shows you're not waiting. It shows you've already decided your worth, and that shifts how she sees you. Now here's the uncomfortable truth. Sometimes she won't feel any of this. Sometimes she won't care. Sometimes she'll move on without looking back. And that's okay, because your disappearance was never about her reaction. It was about your action. It was about choosing dignity over hope, self-respect over attachment, peace over anxiety. Even if she never comes back, you still win. You kept your self-respect, you kept your peace, you kept your power. And that's worth more than any relationship built on you being less than who you are. Now let's talk about what happens after you disappear, because this is where most men ruin everything. She reaches out, she says she misses you, she says she wants to talk, she hints that maybe she made a mistake, and instantly a lot of men think, finally, it worked. They rush back, they open up completely, they drop their boundaries, they become the same man they were before. And the moment they do, the dynamic collapses again. Because what she was responding to wasn't your words, it wasn't your silence as a tactic, it was the version of you who chose himself, the man who walked away with dignity. The man who didn't beg, the man who didn't stay available at any cost. If you go back to the old version, nothing has changed. She loses respect again. She takes you for granted again. She pulls away again. Not because she's cruel, but because you taught her that your boundaries were temporary. So if she reaches out, you don't ignore her, but you don't chase either. You stay grounded, you stay calm, you stay centered. You engage, but with limits. You're open, but not desperate. You're interested, but not sacrificing your life to prove it. You show her that the man who disappeared is who you are now. Not a phase, not a strategy, but a standard. And if she can't respect that version of you, she's not meant to be in your life. Let's go deeper into why disappearing works, not as manipulation, but as truth. Because disappearing removes fake connection. It removes one-sided effort. It removes the illusion that something was working when it wasn't. Most situations don't fall apart because of a big argument. They fall apart because one person was carrying everything while the other coasted. One person invested, one person waited, one person tried, and that imbalance kills attraction. So when you disappear, you're not ending something healthy. You're ending something that was already broken. You're just the only one honest enough to admit it. And that honesty has power. It forces reality to surface. It forces her to feel the absence of your effort. And sometimes absence is the only thing that makes people see clearly. Here's another truth most men avoid. Disappearing isn't about her. It's about you. It's about refusing to lose yourself chasing someone who doesn't choose you. Every moment you spend seeking validation from the wrong person is a moment stolen from your goals, your growth, your peace. You never get that time back. So disappearing is self-preservation. It's saying, I matter. It's saying, my energy matters. And it's saying, I won't beg for a place in someone's life. And when you live that way, everything shifts. Not just with her, with everyone. You attract different people, different opportunities, different energy. Because you're no longer operating from lack. You're operating from emotional abundance, the abundance that comes from knowing you're enough. That energy is rare, and it's magnetic. So when you disappear, you're not losing. You're leveling up. You're becoming the man who doesn't settle, the man who doesn't beg, the man who respects himself too much to stay where he's not valued. And that man doesn't disappear to get attention. He disappears because it's the right move for him. Everything else is just a byproduct. So if you're thinking about someone right now, hear this clearly. Don't disappear to hurt her. Don't disappear to make her jealous. Don't disappear as a tactic. Disappear because you respect yourself. Disappear because you deserve better. Disappear because staying is costing you your peace. And then stay gone long enough to rebuild. Long enough to remember who you are. Long enough to stop measuring your worth by someone else's attention. If she comes back, fine, but only if she's meeting a man who is whole, grounded, and unwilling to be second place. And if she doesn't come back, even better, because now you're free. Free to meet someone who sees your value without needing you to disappear first. Someone who matches your effort, your respect, your energy. That's the real win. Not her regret, but your freedom. Not her validation, but your self-respect. Everything else is noise, so disappear when you need to. Not as a game, as a boundary, as a standard, as a commitment to yourself. And watch how everything shifts, not just with her, but within you. If this resonated, hit that subscribe button. We're building men who choose themselves, who move with clarity, who live with purpose. You belong here.